Hey everyone, my name is Chelsea. Welcome to Little Mountain Ranch. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm really happy to have you here with me today. And the reason that I am stumbling over my words is because look out the window. Do you see that? That is snow. So yeah, so that's happening. We're gonna pretend it's not happening and we're gonna do something cozy and fun in the kitchen. I'll just try to stand in the way of the snow, unless you like snow, in which case maybe you enjoy seeing the snow out the window. I definitely do not enjoy seeing that, so I'm gonna pretend it's not there. But likely all the snow that's gonna fall will just end up melting by tomorrow. That's usually what happens with our first few snowfalls, but you never know. We are gonna have some renovation sounds coming from downstairs because Dan is working to finish our storage room that we're building down there. We will show you that when it's done. It's very exciting, but there will be some compressors going. I can hear the compressor going down there right now, along with some power tools. So I do apologize for that, but we don't want to stop the progress of that project moving forward. You can see that my pressure canner is actually going in the background, my electric Presto canner, and that has the remainder of the kidney beans that I've been canning over the last couple of days. So I'm gonna grab my chicken out of here. So what we're gonna make today is a recipe from one of the members in my membership community. Her name is Deanne, and this is a chicken enchilada soup, a canned chicken enchilada soup. I'm very excited about this recipe. So I'm gonna read the recipe out to you and then we'll walk through it step by step. 5 cups of cooked chicken, shredded. Chicken breast is what she recommends, but you could use thighs too, I'm sure. 5 cups of Roma tomatoes, and I'm going to be using my canned Roma tomatoes here. I have tons of them and I don't have any fresh, so we're gonna use canned. 6 to 8 cups of chicken broth, so we're gonna use some of our canned broth here. 3 cups of frozen corn, which we have in the freezer. 6 to 8 cups, oh no, sorry, I already read that one. 4 cups of soaked and cooked black beans. I have those in the Instant Pot cooking right now. We need 1 large can of mild green chilies, which I currently don't have. So what I'm gonna do is make the soup up without that, and then I'll just add that in when I actually open the jars and make it. I'll just have to plan ahead and make sure I have some in the pantry. 2 cups of chopped carrots, 6 cloves of chopped garlic, and 1 tablespoon of Mexican spices per jar. So she does have a recipe here for the Mexican spice mix as well, and this is for a bulk amount, and you need 1 tablespoon of this mix or whatever Mexican spice you have for each quart, and this will make around 7 quarts of this chicken enchilada soup. So for the Mexican spice, we need 1/4 cup of chili powder, 1/4 cup of cumin, 1/8 cup of oregano, 1/8 cup of paprika, 1/8 cup of garlic powder, and 1/8 cup of onion powder. Mix that all up, and then we're going to use a tablespoon of that for each of these jars. So we're going to layer all the ingredients between the 7 quart jars, add our spices, and then top them within 1 inch to 1/4 or 1 inch to 1 inch and 1/4 of our broth. And then we're gonna can those at 90 minutes in a pressure canner. And you can see my electric pressure canner is actually going back there. Oh, it just finished, so that's good. Just finishing up those kidney beans that I have been working through over the last couple of days. If you wanna see all the canning beans that I did, you can check that out in the previous video. Okay, I am just going to go and jump on a call with one of my members. Part of my membership community is one-on-one calls, so we're gonna go do that right now. And then I'll be back with you to get all of this chicken all chopped up and ready to go. So I canned all of my breast meat off the chickens that I raised this year, and I didn't raise quite enough chickens. So I have some store-bought chicken breast here that I'm gonna use. And I believe that I'm probably not gonna have quite enough here for 7 quarts, but we'll see. We'll use my electric pressure canner, which takes 5 if I don't have quite enough. I actually did buy some other chicken breast, but when I opened up the packages, it was bad, which I don't think I've ever had happen before. So I'm gonna have to take that back, but we'll use what we have here. And I suppose I could go down and open a jar of my canned meat, but it's already been processed once, so don't really wanna process it again. Okay, so I'm gonna go fry this in a little bit of olive oil over on the stove. I'm fairly confident I have enough for 5 jars. So we'll start with that. So we're gonna pop our lids off here. These are brand new jars, but I am gonna give them a quick wash. So I'm also going to use a jar for mixing all of our seasonings. Chili powder, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, some oregano too. So 1/4 cup of chili powder. You know what? I don't need this big of a jar. Let's grab a pint jar. There, that's a more appropriate size. Of oregano, 1/8 cup of paprika. Oh, that's a little too much. 1/8 cup of both garlic and onion. 1/8 cup of cumin. I'm trying not to be distressed about the fact that the snow is actually sticking to the ground outside. I'm not quite done getting the garden put to bed yet. Oh, that's the wrong lid. So I really do hope that it does melt off. We are far enough ahead that it's not the end of the world if winter is here, but I really hope it's not. So now we're just gonna give this a really good shake. And we have a bunch of Mexican spice there. That's awesome. Okay, I'll put all this away and then we will move right into starting to assemble this recipe. Okay, so we need to peel and chop some carrots. We need to chop up 6 cloves of garlic. That is a big clove, so we're gonna call that 2. There, I'm gonna say that's probably good right there. I'm definitely only gonna get 5 jars from this recipe just because I don't have enough chicken. So I am dicing up a little bit less garlic than the recipe calls for. But still a good amount of garlic because we love garlic around here. So I'm gonna divide that up between our jars. Don't you find garlic is just one of those really messy things? It just makes such a mess when I do anything with garlic. Okie dokie. Now we'll do our tablespoon of our Mexican spice. Okay, this is a 1/2 tablespoon, so we're gonna put 2 of these in there. And now I have some of this spice left for another recipe. It smells good. So we're gonna strain our black beans. Okay, so we have our chicken here. I'm gonna divide the chicken amongst these jars and break it up a little bit because it is supposed to be shredded chicken. Okay, so we're gonna divide this up amongst our jars here. So there we go. I was stretching it, putting this over 5 jars, but that'll be fine. I did extra black beans because I am going to just can them up. I needed them anyway, so no point in running the Instapot through without just filling it. So I'm just adding a scoop to each one of these jars here. And my canner is done back there too with the kidney beans, so that's great. So I'll be able to put these right in there. So now we're going to put our tomatoes in there. So I'm kind of adding an even amount of each one of the ingredients into this. This is called a lid lifter, and my friend Jen from 5V Farms over on Instagram makes these. And they're awesome because they don't damage the lid. I just want to use this up, so we'll add a little bit more in there and then we'll top it with our corn. So now we're going to give this a little stir. And then we're going to top our jars off with our broth. And we're definitely going to want to debubble this because we have lots of places for air to get trapped in here. So we're going to give these a little debubbling. Top our jars off. And then we're going to wash our rims. So I just realized I completely missed adding the carrots to this. And that's fine. I can just add a couple of jars of carrots to these when I open them up to make the recipe, along with the green chilies that I didn't add either. But this smells really good, and I can just tell by the ingredients it's gonna taste yummy too. Lid everything up and pop it into our canner. So we're going for 90 minutes because this is all, we've got meat in there, we have corn and beans, which are all really low acid food. And we're gonna do this at 15 pounds of pressure. But first, we are going to take our jars out of here, and I'm gonna refresh this water because I've actually used this water in this canner twice already. So we'll pull our beans out. So this is what they look like when they come out. Don't they look nice? So I'm gonna fill this up with cold water because the jars with the broth and everything are all cold. So I don't want to end up with cracked jars. So I'm going to can these ones up after. I shared in my last video that it is my preference not to pre-cook kidney bean or black beans. I like to soak them overnight, but I don't pre-cook them. But like I said, I'm just trying to save myself time. I had them going into the Instant Pot anyway, so I might as well fill it all up and then can those up. So they'll be a little bit mushier, but that's fine. We'll just use them for like refried beans or something that needs a softer bean in it. So we're gonna add our pretty jars into our canner. We're gonna take our regulator off because we don't put that on until after it's vented. Pop this on and turn the lid. So then we've got our timer set there. It says insert jars. We're going to press the next button, and now it's going to warm everything up before it actually gets hot. So that's good since we have a cool product in there. So I think what we're going to do now is I am going to prep some carrots to make some pickled carrots. I have a really delicious pickled carrot recipe that I'm going to make. So I'll get the carrots peeled and cut into like carrot stick size. I like doing these in pint jars because we don't eat a ton of them at once. And then when I come back, we will get all of those put into jars and I'll share that recipe with you. All right, friends, it is the next day, as often happens here on my channel, where I got busy doing other things after we were finished making that, what was it, the chicken enchilada soup, which I think turned out really well. Looks really good in the jars. I'll show you that in a sec if I didn't show you that before now. And now we are going to can up some pickled carrots. This is a recipe I've been sharing on my channel for a couple of years now, and it is one that you guys love and we absolutely adore. It has a little bit of cinnamon in it, which gives it a bit of a different flavor, and it's really, really good. So I already have all the carrots all chopped up and put in the jars here. The best way to load carrots or pickle spears or anything like that into your canning jars is to turn the jar on the side and load them in that way. That way you can get them in so that they look nice. So I have 7 pints. I'll probably end up doing 21 pints or so to last us out the winter, but I'm just going to start with 7. So I have 7 pints all ready to go with carrots in them. And then in this little sachet here, I have some pickling spice, which is just the Clubhouse pickling spice here, and a couple broken pieces of cinnamon stick. So I'm going to throw that in a pot here, and I'm going to throw another cinnamon stick into the pot as well. And we need a little bit of sugar because these are a sweet pickle. They're not too sweet, but they're quite vinegary as well, but the sugar just kind of cuts the vinegriness of these pickles a little bit. So we have 1 cup of sugar, 2 cups of white vinegar, 1.5 cups of water, a teaspoon of pickling salt, and we're going to heat this up and let it simmer for a few minutes so that the flavors from our pickling spice here can infuse into our vinegar, water, sugar mixture. And into our jars, we're going to add a piece of garlic. And we used around 12 or so carrots for this batch. We're going to add a shake of dill weed. And I have done it where I've omitted the dill before and omitted the garlic actually, and it has been good as well. But since I have all the things I need today for the full recipe, I am going to add it all to it. And then we're going to top these off with our brine, leaving around 3/4 of an inch of headspace, give or take. I feel like the amount of brine that I've made here is not going to be sufficient to cover this, but I'm going to just leave that and see how many it fills. Normally I make really large batches of these and I just make up a big batch of brine. So I've never actually done it according to just the 7-pint recipe before. So I'll just wait and see, because maybe it is enough. If it isn't, we'll add to it and I'll let you know how much you'll need for the 7 pints that we're doing today. Okay, so now we're going to take off our little sachet there and set that aside. I'm going to save that and reuse that one again along with our cinnamon stick. So the cinnamon just gives a slight cinnamony flavor to this brine. It's not overpowering. We have also done it before where we have put a little piece of cinnamon stick in with the carrots themselves, and that's also good too. And we're going to steam can these for 15 minutes in our steam canner, or you can water bath can them if you have a water bath canner. So yes, this is not going to be enough brine. So we have 3 more jars to do, so I'm actually just going to make this exact brine again, and the extra stuff I'll just use for my next batch. So that's our 2 cups of in, 1.5 cups of water, cup of sugar, and our teaspoon of salt. Onto the stove again. Okay, let's top these off now with our brine. So if you wanted to get 7 quarts, I would do this recipe once and then half again, and that would give you the perfect amount of brine for these. So I'm just going to give these a shake to get the air bubbles out, like so, rather than actually stick something down there and debubble them. And I'll just top these off just a smidge. Okay, I'm going to wipe off the rims because this was sugary, so I want to make sure we get all the sticky bits off. You can use a little vinegar on your cloth if it's super sticky. And our lid's on. Did I tell you that we converted one of our bedrooms in the basement into what we're calling the warehouse, but it is all kind of overflow stuff from our pantry, like toilet paper and toothpaste and our medical kits and things like that. In that space, so we could have more room for my canning in my canning pantry. So that's really exciting. We'll share that with you when we do our pantry tour at the end of this month. But it looks really great. We put some new flooring in there and painted it all, put some shelving in. Okay, we're gonna put our lid on our steam canner here. We're going to wait. This one is a fruit saver. It has a dial on the top that shows me how hot it needs to be before I start my timer. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to can this for 15 minutes, and I'll show you when it's all done. Our pickles are done. This is just about it, my friends. I feel like I've been saying that for weeks now. Every time I do a canning recipe, this is just about it. I'm almost finished, but I am really almost finished. I wanted to do another couple batches of the enchilada soup, a couple more maybe of bean soup. Do you remember if there's anything else that we had to? There was something you said when you were cleaning the cupboards. Yeah, there were a few other things I remember. You said Dan's going to run down and check because he's been doing the organizing on the pantry and keeping track of kind of what things, where there's some gaps in the pantry. So you can see how nice those look. I've had several people ask about my mixer here. So this is an Ankerstrom mixer, and what my thoughts are on it. I've had it for about 8 or 9 months now, and it took me a little bit to get used to using it because I've always used a KitchenAid style mixer. But now that I know how to use this, I absolutely adore this mixer. I will never go back. Unfortunately, I'll probably never have to, because these machines have been around with this exact same design for a really long time, and everyone I know that has one of these says that they last forever. So definitely recommend these ones. So there was some chickpeas, but there's still 6 or 7 jars of chickpeas from last year, which means I'll probably just not do any, wait till those are used up, and then make some more when we actually need them. But yeah, we're pretty much done, which is quite exciting. We ended up doing a few more jars of the carrots just so that we can be done with the carrots. I'm going to take you down to the pantry in a minute and show you the enchilada soup that we made, because I promised I would show it to you when it was finished. So we'll go down there and check that out. But before we go down there though, I wanted to show you something that I am so excited about, and that is my new family cookbook. So this book is filled with, I think there's 150 pages or something like that, of recipes, all of my family recipes and recipes of my own as well from over the years, and I am so excited about this cookbook. So this is a second edition of my cookbook. So if you've purchased the first one, the second edition has 21 new recipes in it. It's entirely redesigned, and I love it so much. So if you do own the first one, we are going to be selling a digital version of this cookbook again. So that might be an option for you if you're wanting those extra 21 recipes rather than buying another hard copy. Although I'd be happy if you bought another hard copy too. But for those of you who have been waiting for it, our cookbook hasn't been available, I think, for almost 6 months now. It is going to be available by the end of this week. So I'll make sure that I put a post out. If you're on my email list, you're going to get notified when it's available as well. And I just cannot wait to share it with you. I'm really, really proud of this book. And on that note, let's head down to the pantry. You guys are going to get a little sneak peek of the pantry here. Let's see, where is it hiding on these shelves? Dan's been working his magic down here and getting all the shelves all organized. There we are. So this is what the chicken enchilada soup looks like. So we'll do a full tour of my pantry in the next probably 2 weeks. Okay friends, that is going to be it for me today. I hope that you enjoyed today's video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.